I personally love it because the UI is just so straightforward. You sign up and it's there. It's that simple, right? Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now for those who are new to my channel, my name is Anais and usually I make videos related to Kubernetes and more specifically related to a challenge called 100 Days of Kubernetes. I've been working in the cloud native ecosystem since about a year now, and throughout the past year working in two different roles, first as developer advocate for CodeFresh, a CI/CD platform, and then for Civo as site reliability engineer, I got a chance to work with several different tools. Some of them I liked more and some of them I liked less. Since it has been about a year, I thought I'm going to review a little bit the tools that I really enjoyed working with. Let's get started. If you prefer the written version instead of this blah 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 video of me just talking, making fun of different tools and of myself, then check out the blog post. It has an overview of the different tools that I just described and why I love them, with more objective details as well. So that's linked below. Now I want to note that I'm a little bit biased because obviously the tools that I got to work with were dependent on my role and which kind of tools my employer wanted or needed me to work with and learn about. So obviously that's kind of self-enforcing. It's a little bit of a bias. The more you learn about a tool and the more you get to use it and the more proficient you get with the tool as well, the more you will like it in some cases as well. Unless you really, really hate that tool, then you probably will hate it forever. But if you're kind of neutral towards it and then you get more proficient in it, you will enjoy it. It's like me being at the beginning when I first learned about Terraform, really like, is that really necessary? Should I really look into it? Should I really learn it? Why? And now I love Terraform and I'm using it every single day and all of our processes are related or within Terraform, and it's absolutely amazing because I am sometimes a really lazy or messy human being who can't keep her configurations properly organized in a way that I know that I actually updated everything that had to be updated, and Terraform kind of helps me to make sure that I don't deploy stupid stuff to our staging clusters. So yay, go Terraform. So that's the first tool that I actually wanted to talk about. Terraform. We use it at Civo every single day, specifically for the infrastructure, for the SRE tools, and so on. So it's really amazing. If you're curious about Terraform, how to get started, I've done a video tutorial on like a simplified workflow that you can see up there. Also now linked up there is a meetup recording from Civo where Alex walks you through the entire setup of how we use Terraform with TerraGrant at Civo and why we use that kind of combination. So check that out if you're curious about advanced Terraform workflows. I personally love it. I'm not too, let's say, proficient to say exactly why. It just makes everything so much easier. Now, the second tool that I want to introduce you to, or that I kind of want to discuss, are CI/CD platforms. Now, there are obviously different CI/CD platforms, and I've done a video on CI/CD platforms and looked in more detail at GitHub Actions. So there are GitHub Actions, there's GitLab CI, CI, there's CodeFresh, there's Circle CI, there's Jenkins, there are lots and lots and lots, right? So which one are you supposed to use? Personally, working at CodeFresh, I really enjoyed using the tool or the platform. I really enjoyed building those workflows. It was really straightforward. The documentation is very, very comprehensive. Yes, you will sometimes run into situations where the documentation might be outdated, but they're very quick to respond. And it just makes it really easy to build nice workflows. I can't describe it otherwise. I haven't had the same experience using GitHub Actions and Circle CI. Now, I'm using right now for my personal projects GitHub Actions, and for work we use for work we use GitLab CI. And I sometimes have problems finding the right information to build a proper workflow, and it's a lot of trial and error on GitLab CI, and it's a lot of trial and error on GitHub Actions, as you can also see on my GitHub Actions video. So I personally really enjoyed using CodeFresh. However, I think that CodeFresh really only is worth it if you are a mid-size to large size organization that can really benefit from comprehensive automated workflows to the complexity that they allow you to build them. So if that's something that you identify with, then CodeFresh might be the right tool for you. Otherwise, I'm not too sure if it's really worth it for a smaller team or when you really don't need those comprehensive list of features to have insights into your Kubernetes clusters. Now, what's the next one? So let's look at Kubernetes providers, managed Kubernetes solutions, right? When I got started in the space, I only used Google Cloud, right? That was my go-to, their Kubernetes clusters. So I mainly used them. It was a bit of a, let's just try and see if things work situation. Also, I ran into several issues at the time using Google Cloud, like sometimes the cluster was just not reachable. So eventually I switched to the Azure Kubernetes service, which was a lot easier to use. But the thing is, those classes take a long time, personally, I think, to spin up. So you sit there waiting for your cluster to spin up, and it just doesn't have the nicest, most straightforward UI, especially if you're just interested in using their managed Kubernetes service. So, and this is complete bias, obviously, again, I love Civo for their Kubernetes provider, right? Which is like the main thing that we do at Civo, right? We provide managed Kubernetes solutions. So clusters. So I personally love it because the UI is just so straightforward. You sign up and it's there. It's that simple, right? A cluster takes like no more usually than 2 minutes to spin up, sometimes even just 1 minute. And you just have all the cloud native applications one click away on the marketplace to install on top of your cluster as well. So it's brilliant. It's straightforward like this, right? Like, yes, that's it. There's no but. Now, let's look at security, because security is obviously important and you want to think about it, and you want to use security scanning, vulnerability scanning tools. And there are lots of open source ones, such as provided by Aquasec, as well as Falco and Sysdig and so on. They have open source scanning solutions that you can use. There are others obviously as well. So I'm probably going to make some videos on the open source projects within Aquasec, because they're really comprehensive and they will allow you to do so many things that I even haven't tried out yet in my video series of 100 Days of Kubernetes. So I'm going to do more detailed explanation of what their tools do. However, where I want to get to is that one of the main vulnerabilities or one of the main security flaws within Kubernetes are misconfigurations, actually. When you use Kubernetes properly, you will end up with lots and lots of YAML files, right? Because you will end up having to customize a lot, like a lot. So you will end up with lots and lots of YAML. So how do you ensure that engineers, developers who are writing those YAML files and then deploying those YAML files to your Kubernetes cluster to spin up new workloads are actually providing the right configurations, right? You cannot do that manually, or you shouldn't check that manually. You should automate that. Please do automate that, because there are people like me who will not check things 300 times. I will check things maybe twice, and then I will try it on staging, and then I will retry it. And if there's something that I don't find and that manages to get into production because it seems to work at the time, it will happen. No, that makes me sound like a really bad employee. It's not that bad, but there are tools that help you to prevent that scenario of people like me deploying shitty stuff onto your Kubernetes cluster. And those tools, or a tool that I personally really enjoy because it's so simple to use. And again, I love tools that are really simple to use because I don't have the time, right? Again, I'm lazy. I like Netflix. So that tool is called Day3. Now, I've done several videos on Day3. They are amazing. I can combine them with anything, basically, to check my configurations. Also, the next video will show you how you can check your Crossplane custom resource definitions for the proper configurations, how you can set up custom rules for those custom resource definitions. But that's a different topic that I will get to in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Now, that leads me to my next topic, Kubernetes. How far can we take it? One of my absolute favorite tools that I love to use in demos is Crossplane, because people are like, what is happening? When I show them what Crossplane does. And Crossplane utilizes the Kubernetes API to spin up Kubernetes-based workloads. So it's basically extending the Kubernetes API so you can actually manage your infrastructure through Kubernetes. Now, it's a little of a chicken and an egg problem. Which Kubernetes cluster do you have to manage which Kubernetes cluster? But ultimately, if your organization wants to implement that, it can really help you to reduce access to the actual Kubernetes clusters. Like, people don't need to have access to your actual Kubernetes clusters in order to use them. So you can basically implement the shit out of GitOps through Crossplane, which I hope that sounds all right now saying that, but I love it. And I highly suggest you to check it out. I actually wrote the Sivo Crossplane provider. So if you find any bugs, I want to say I'm gonna buy you a cookie, but that does not sound sustainable. I'm gonna send you a sticker if you find a bug in that Sivo provider. And they're not there. No, maybe. I don't know. No, they're not. I should really stop talking shitty about my work. But that's an amazing tool. Now, this is it for the day. I hope this video was interesting. It was a little bit of a more storytelling type of thing. If you prefer, and I should have probably said that at the beginning, so I will blend this in the beginning again. If you prefer the written version instead of this blah 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 video of me just talking, making fun of different tools and of myself, then check out the blog post. It has an overview of the different tools that I just described and why I love them, with more objective details as well. So that's linked below. Also linked below is the community chat, the Discord community. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any tools I should really check out that I haven't checked out, haven't looked at yet, then please join the community chat or comment below this video. Also, I have a weekly DevOps newsletter where I share free online learning resources right to your inbox on a weekly basis. So make sure to subscribe there. I hope to see you in one of my upcoming videos. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.